What is going on, guys? Boy Yoshimitsu coming back at you with another video. That's right, we back in Grandia 2. We back having a good adventure. Ryudo is still insulting people. Hell yeah, let's get into this shit. Alright, so last I left off, we managed to defeat the boss in that cave. And now we're on our way to the city still. Oh, fuck. I fell for it again. Damn. We still gotta get to the city to help what's her face? Elena. I had to go into the menu to figure that out. So we have to go into the city to save Elena, who we also realize is Melanie. Melanie, I just got that. So now we have, she transforms to Melania. I'm not sure if it's at night or if this was just like a one-time thing. So I'm very curious to see what they're gonna do with that. If it's like she has like specific qualifications or something. Because at the time we didn't know who Melania was, and then at the end of that last episode we found out, oh my god, she can transform into her. So it's kind of like, holy shit, like what is this all about? So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're just kind of going through one of the dungeons. It's called the Baked Plains. Just hope there's no beans in there.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Lend us your power.
I'm so sorry, guys. I get a lot of British jokes on my For You page on TikTok, and it's always beans and toast. But, you know, there was one day I woke up, I'm like, you know what? Let me try some of these beans and toast. Bruh. And then I looked at the beans and I was like, no, don't do this to yourself. So, you know, if there's any UK viewers out there, let me know. Am I missing out on something? Like, is this actually, like, good? It's just fun playing these types of games because it's almost like a snapshot in, like, video gaming history. Like, this was a Dreamcast, like, launch title. You know, like, this was, like, the shit that everybody wanted to play. And I know I certainly did. I unfortunately did not have a Dreamcast, so, you know, it was disappointing that I never got to play this and Kelowna and Knights, Sonic Adventure Battle 2, but I eventually got that for GameCube. So, I mean, I guess it's kind of a moot point. I assume, like, a lot of these just came out on GameCube and stuff like that. But, you know, at the time, I didn't even know, like, how or what a Dreamcast even was. So, you know, seeing it for the first time, I was like, whoa, they have a JRPG. I want to play that. And ever since then, like, that's all I've ever wanted to do was play these games. You know, it's actually funny. Like, my very first JRPG was probably, I want to say it was like some sort of Nintendo 64 title. I don't remember what it was called. I want to say I guess I wouldn't call it a JRPG, but there was a game on the Nintendo 64, and maybe you guys can help me out in the comments, but it was like a game where you could sort of like pick where you want to go, and like eventually you found this guy who could like make potions and stuff like that or something. Like I said, I don't remember the game in the slightest, but I definitely remember playing a game where it was like I could go to this city and then I'll like suddenly like I could choose what I want to do in the city, and like the story would play out different. Like if I go talk to this character or this character, it'll play out different. So if anybody remembers that, it was definitely an RPG. The graphics were god awful. I had rented it from Blockbuster once, and I never could remember the name of it. This was very, very old, obviously. I know there was like a mad scientist guy who had like crooked teeth and shit, and like his specialty was making like potions and stuff. But you don't have to recruit him. Like you could like completely miss him and like do a different part of the game or something. God, I really wish I could remember. But if anybody remembers the game I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below.
Wow, man. Damn.
I know it's a real game. I can never remember the game. I had found it years ago, but then I probably just either didn't remember or I didn't write it down, or God only knows.
You stupid.
Again, I don't play these games with optimal builds or anything. I just play them because it's fun. So, yes, if I have the wrong Grandia 2 build, please go ahead. You are allowed to roast me in the comments. All 12 of you. It's hard not to reminisce on things because this game is very nostalgic to a time where I felt like things weren't as like big budget, you know? Like I feel like we don't get a lot of well, maybe we do now, but I feel like for a time we did not get a lot of like AA, like, oh, we're just trying something new, oddball idea like JRPG. And this isn't really even oddball necessarily. I mean, this is like it's from a respected, you know what, let me not talk on my ass. I don't know exactly if this would be considered AAA, AA, whatever, but it's definitely something that I think is a lot more notable than I think people like give credit for. I think Grandia series is kind of like it's like a bigger series at large. I know they have 3 games. Granted, obviously I've only ever played this one. I did play 1 for a little bit, but I kind of stopped because for some reason I was playing it and like my save got corrupted or something on my Switch, and I was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm just not gonna bother. So, and everybody says 2 was the best one anyway, so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just play 2. And I never got around to it, and I was like, oh, I'm doing a YouTube channel, why not give it a shot? So, you know, just me gapping and shit. So one thing that I can appreciate about this game is like they put a lot of effort into like making the combat feel very like rewarding. Like when I use a special attack, like I'm like watch this, like that sound, that animation, like there's a lot of punch to it. And I'm one of those people who like I turn it on autopilot sometimes. I'm just like, okay, just fucking attack them and get it over with. But like every time I do a special ability, I want to stop and pay attention because it's always something very interesting that they're doing. And I really love games that take extra care in those little things. And, you know, I've been playing another game recently called Quartet. And what Quartet does really interesting is that it's very reminiscent of, like, Final Fantasy 6. That game really reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy 6. And it's great playing that game because it also has a lot of those same components from that time without actually being in that time. It's like a modern like day remake thing. So, you know, Quartet and Final Fantasy 6 share a lot of dash shoes. But Quartet was made, you know, this year. So like it has a lot of those modern day feels, which honestly we need like a Grandia type like modern day game. Like we need something that does, you know, what Grandia was back then, but in a modern day setting. And I just don't think we get that a lot. And I think it's because JRPGs just honestly don't sell well. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know how true that is, but like, you got your big titles, you know, like Final Fantasy and holy shit. You got like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. Like that stuff's always gonna sell because it's just a name brand, or like Dragon Quest or something. But like, you don't get a lot of like smaller things like this where it's like, oh, well, let's try a, you know, weird off the wall like adventure about a guy and his bird called Geohounds. Like, I feel like that's much harder to sell, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's just kind of what it seems like, you know? You know, I'm always curious, like, how things like this game sort of get pitched in like a room, like with a bunch of bigwigs. Like, yeah, we want a game where there's like mole people and like, you know, a guy who talks to his bird and this blonde-haired kid who casts super cool spells. Like, I'm just curious to hear that conversation. And I'm sure it's probably like a normal conversation, like, oh, well, you know, it shows that kids like this and this and this or whatever. I'm sure it's all very data-driven. That's just what I believe. Now, I don't know for sure if all video games are data-driven, but that's just what it always feels like, you know? And I could be wrong, but, you know, maybe that's what it was back then, or maybe it's more like that now. And I'm sure somebody out there who's a lot more in tune to this stuff than I am, I'm sure you guys have plenty of opinions what is data-driven, what is not data-driven. I feel like a lot of games now are data driven in a way that's just like, oh, you don't need to worry about stuff like this because we have a chart or a demographic that we can hit that will make it okay. But, you know, that kind of eliminates risk. And I was listening to a podcast and they're like, yeah, it's much harder to kind of pitch original ideas because companies don't want to take the risk. And while I understand that, I feel like that's also disingenuous, you know, because it's like, well, shit, if they can't, you know, take risks, then why are they making games at all? But, you know, I guess it's just part of the business. And, you know, again, I'm not like an industry expert. I don't stay up to date on the shit or anything, but I do know that in the past I've made this sort of like blanket statement about things, and I've been like, oh, well, it's like this, and it's never truly like that. Like that's not a thing, you know. So sometimes it helps to remind myself, hey, this is not the thing you think it is. This is just a perception built by people on the internet. So, you know, finding that differentiation, like sort of that information is really important. You know, I feel like gaming in general can be overshadowed by... Theo, go lay down. Theo, go lay down. Go lay down, Theo. I feel like gaming can be overshadowed by whatever the minority is, just because it's still... It feels like people still think of it as like a niche thing when it's a lot more broad now, which is kind of a hard thing to like come to terms with. Like, it's not really like just a hobby. It's like a worldwide thing now. Like, video games are a lot more mainstream. So, you know, it's tough when you kind of face that reality and it's like, oh, I'm just one of a billion now rather than like one of 100,000 or something, you know? So I think that's what's most upsetting a lot of the times about video games is like, now that it's kind of exploded a little bit, you know, we're no longer just people who care about the art or whatever, or the game, you know what I'm saying? Like we're kind of like different in the sense like, oh, we're just numbers to them now. Like that's not really what the industry is. And obviously the whole industry is not like that, right? Like that's not how the perception I'm trying to paint is. It's kind of more like an uncomfortable reality that might need some time to accept, because it's hard to understand that yes, it has changed and it is blown up dramatically to the point where more and more people now play video games. So yes, that means minority voices and people who've been here for a while and care a lot, you know, their voice is not heard as often, so they gotta shout the loudest. And that's kind of like the thing I've noticed more over the past, I don't know, a couple of years of playing video games and like being around like gaming culture is like those voices are screaming because they want to feel like more than just a number. It sucks that we even have to have that conversation, because everybody should have a voice and, you know, an opinion on everything, because, you know, we're all equally important. But to these people in suits, they're about making money. They're not about making art or games in a fashion that, you know, they care about the consumer. That's like, you know, it's what Sony's doing with getting rid of their discs option. Like all they care about is seeing their stock points go up. You know, that's just an unfortunate reality, and I definitely do not agree with it because it's very anti-consumer. But at the same time, like, there's a reality there that I don't think people want to accept, and it's that they don't give a shit. And, you know, I've always been held to the belief for a long time that companies don't give a shit about anybody but whatever their job is. So, like, as much as we hold video games and, like, companies near and dear to my heart that have made things that touched us, at the end of the day, they never looked at it that way. All they were like, is it going to sell? Yes or no? And that was the end of the conversation. And I'm sure, you know, this is not, you know, the end-all be-all rule. I'm sure there's exceptions, obviously. But at the same time, you know, I feel like it's important to understand that these companies have always operated like this. It's just we were so blinded by the industry being so new, we didn't really think too much of it, and we just kind of went along with the ride. And and that's really disappointing to like hear and like accept, and I totally get that. But I think it's something that we kind of just have to understand is just where we're at in terms of video games. Like companies, I mean, other than the indies, don't get me wrong, there's always the indies, right? Companies just don't make games for passion. They make games because it makes money. Like that's the whole reason they get into this stuff, and to treat it as anything different just puts you in a really bad headspace where your expectations are not healthy, like
tear you to pieces.
This whole Sony thing with the discs, like I thought about it and I was like, man, this really sucks, because I love getting physical copies, but at the same time I'm like, how is this any different than what Steam's been doing for years? The only difference is that Steam has just always been like that. I didn't see any outrage when Steam wasn't offering physicals. Hell, when CD-ROMs went away for the computer, I didn't hear, well, maybe I was just too young, but I didn't hear anybody get upset over that. So it's like, everybody else is doing this. Nintendo shifted away from it, and I saw this thing, like, they were like, oh, Nintendo cares about physical copies. Like, you don't even get the game on the little physical, like, cartridge or whatever. Like, you have to pay for the license of it through the cartridge or something. So it's like, what are we even talking about, All of these companies, and not just Sony exclusively, this is a lot of people, they are just in it for the money. And I think people like get that misconstrued and develop this like unhealthy relationship with the company about like, oh, they care about us, we're the people who made the money. No, they don't think that. All they think is, oh, you guys will buy anything because of our name. That is what our name is. And they don't care about the name. They're like, oh, our bonus was $2,000 less, or, we need to do this to keep our jobs. Like, every single time somebody does something, like, it's either you or me when it comes to a job. And I'm telling y'all right now, if I was in the position, ain't nobody gonna cost me my job, because it's my check, So, I mean, obviously there's integrity, there's pride, and, there's right and wrong. Like, those are different, right? But at the same time, like, you still got to survive. So, I get it. There's a lot of conversations to be had, and I'm just another voice in the wind with nothing real special. But I do just kind of want everybody to, like, think about that sort of implication and just, like, that perspective where it's like, okay, I'm mad at Sony. Why? Because they're getting rid of physical media. Okay. Now, am I mad at them because I trusted them like a person, or am I mad at them for the business practices that they're doing? Because you can't have it both ways. Like, you can't look at a company and be like, oh my God, this company has done me right for so long, when in reality, all they've ever cared about is the fact that you pay them money. They wouldn't even bat a fucking eye if you died on their doorstep. Like, that's just like a cold reality that I think a lot of people have this sort of idealized like gaming sort of construct of like, oh, this company cares about us, they're making the things we want. And it's like, yeah, that might be true to an extent, but the decision wasn't made off feeling. It was made off of numbers, facts, charts, market reports, and shit like that. So it's very dismissive for me to say, oh no, that's not how it is. It's dismissive of me to be like, hey, look, you can't really keep doing stuff like this because I don't like it. Like, that's not how that works. There's always a different perspective. And I don't even want to be a shill for the company, because I don't like Sony and I don't like what they're doing. But then I have to acknowledge the other side where it's like, well, what's the difference between this and Steam? Because Steam just launched its own console and there's no disc for that. Hell, it runs like a fucking PS4, but because it has the name Steam, everybody wanted it, and it's over $1,000. So it's like, okay, what is the difference between this? So honestly, I just think it's really just an unfortunate circumstance of what Sony is. Sony was always a home-based console. Steam was never a home-based thing, and then it became a home-based thing once computers started to rise. So I mean, like, it became this sort of conversation less about, oh, Sony is like for the people, and it came more like, no, Sony does this for me, and it got real twisted, which is what really, you know, makes me sad, because I think people feel betrayed because they saw something in a company that was giving them something that they didn't even know they wanted at the time, and it affected them in a way that changed them. So then they develop a relationship with that company, and all of a sudden you're having these conversations about, oh well, you know, it's not really like this, it's more like that, and you know, I don't feel that way, but I kind of do, so I get it. You know, it's all very confusing shit, let's be honest. Please come quickly. He is a spirited one. That wasn't the word I had in mind. I suppose we should take a look. Whoa. Oh, I love the music. These are the Grana Cliffs. Steep ass cliffs, man. Whoa, we got an FMV. Let's go. I can't really see a damn thing, but the energy's there. So these are the Grana Cliffs, a scar splitting the face of the Silesian continent. I take it you haven't seen it before. Scripture speaks of it, yet the sighs, the land still aches, its wound yet felt, the battle of good and evil still so close. And still, after all these years, no one has come up with a better name than the battle of good and evil. How will we make our crossing? Look over there. Is it the bridge of Khazad-dûm? What the hell? Oh, jeez. That's called the Skyway. We ride on that across the Granite Cliffs. The ship lands in a town not far ahead. Once we cross here, it is only a stone's throw to the St. Heim Palpa state. Or you could all grow wings and I wouldn't have to wait for you. Incredible. This is just so exciting. Don't overdo it. We're camping here tonight. Good idea. Hey, Elena. Sleeping on your feet again? Let's move. Oh, no, not at all. I love that the music kicked in. It feels so grand. I love it. Now we can have a quiet moment of reprise. Dinner with a view, kids. Watch your step when you go to the little girl's room. Okay, so we got a little arrow, so I guess we can hear from each of them. Check it out. We're closing in on Liligu, and from there the St. Heim Palpal state. The granite cliffs are incredible. You must see them to believe them. The world is really in a pitiful state. It sure is a hassle that the world is split in half by these granite cliffs. Now I remember, it was the battle of good and evil that made these granite cliffs, right? Miss Elena, will you tell me about the battle of good and evil? Okay. I don't really know much myself, but they say long ago the people lived happily bathed in the light of Lord Granus. The Valmar came and tried to take the light from the people, and so began the battle of good and evil. At the battle's end, Lord Granus' sword, which he raised to cut down Valmar, went right through Valmar into the earth, creating a huge fissure across the land, and that is how the Granite Cliffs came to be. Damn, that must have been one big-ass sword. You'd think that if Granus had a sword big enough to carve out the continent, he'd be a bit more careful about where he'd drop it. It can't be helped. Just think what the world would be like without Lord Granus. Would it be that bad? Now that you mention Valmar, the Devil of Darkness, can you feel Miss Elena? I cannot believe it that Valmar is inside me. People must not be caught by darkness. They will be able to live only in darkness. They will no longer feel for other people. Darkness warps a person's soul. If someone is truly caught by darkness, that person will have no future. I don't know. I think there's a lesson to be learned here. Then I guess I have no future either. This is getting shadier by the moment. For some reason, I don't see sunshine and puppy dogs in the near future. Mr. Ryudo, you are neither wicked nor dark one. Darkness is something completely different. I do not really understand it myself, but darkness makes people sad and lonely. I hate it. Oh, looks like we can go to sleep now. We got to get going early tomorrow. Let's hit the sack. Let's hit the hay, everybody. Stop it. Stay away from me. My body is melting. Stay away from me. What's wrong, Elena? You were screaming in your sleep. He's a real heavy sleeper. A huge tongue-like thing coiled around me and it was devouring me. Ooh. Ooh. Shh. That's strange. It's too quiet. Hey! Roman, wake up! Uh-oh.
Shh! Something's here.
Holy shit. What do we gotta fight? What the fuck is this?
I finally found you. I'll teach you a lesson.
Who is you? Me? Uh-oh. Alright. Let's just hit him with what we got. I'm just gonna go all in on him. Damn, asshole. Alright. Alright, let's drop his defense.
Here goes my impact bomb.
Pew! Damn, he's got a lot of health.
Strike! Purple lightning!
Uh-oh. Have some of this, static shock.
You can really feel it.
I like that. It was like, pew! It's like powering down. This guy is cool. I think he joins us in the party. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Alright, let's use burn. Oh my god, he's gonna fucking kill him. Alright, we need to heal Ryudo before he dies. We'll do flying Tenkensei. Tenkensein? Why is he only going after Ryudo? This is so weird. I better fucking be. Oh, that was a really strong healing spell.
Sky, take flight!
Get his ass. Oh yeah, we about to ball now, brother. Get his ass.
Here goes! Flying Tensei Ken!
Ooh, 840. That was a good amount of damage right there. I'll take that. Okay. Shit. Why is he only going after Ryudo? Well, nice job,
Golden hammer.
Elena.
Crash.
Man, he really does not like fucking Ryudo. I guess we'll just use Tensei Slash, right? Okay. Oh, we'll use Stram. Lowering his strength will make sure Ryudo doesn't die on us, and it's ridiculous that I have to do that. Oh shit, we knocked his ass back into yesterday.
Lend us your power.
Okay, we definitely need to heal Ryudo because for whatever reason he's got a hard on for him. Like, see? All the way on the other side of the arena. Okay, that'll keep him alive at least. Okay. So we'll use Impact Bomb, and then I think, yeah, he's out of SP. Alright, well, let's just combo the shit out of him now.
Here
He doesn't
goes
do a
my
lot of
impact
damage.
Bomb.
Pew! I love that it just looks like a ball. So in my headcanon, she made like a little toy ball. That's what she's using, so. We'll use Golden Hammer on him.
Golden hammer.
Dang. Just straight broke his stuff with a hammer. Alright. Damn. Okay, we'll just use a fire spell. I can't really think of anything.
Rise, O flame.
Please don't kill Ryudo. Please don't kill Ryudo. Oh, hell. Alright, let's use an item. Items are faster. Items are faster. Stop! Go lay down. Go lay down.
These fangs.
Damn, that hurts.
Theo, go lay down. Now. Go lay down. Okay. We only get one shot at this because he's about to kill Ryudo. What did I just say? Stop. Okay, come on.
Rise,
Come on,
O
Elena.
flame.
Woo! We got him. He's done. We cooked him.
Gotta work even harder.
Dun, dun, dun. Hell yeah. Oh, we gained a lot of experience from that. What's your beef with us, bro? We didn't do nothing.
Are you not him?
Who is him?
What? What is the meaning of this? Why do you attack me?
See?
Your smell called me. The same smell as that of the villain who destroyed my village. The smell of that scum drives me crazy. I must find him. This Melphis.
What? He said Melphis. Ryudo.
Who is Melphis?
I smell like Melphis? Is that true?
You know Melphis.
I might.
I see.
Tragic past.
Your smell does not have the dank smell of death.
Dank.
I had forgotten myself.
Hey! You! My Is Melphis alive?
His brother.
Melphis is a demon man, bringer of ruination. My name is Merrick. I'm sorry for attacking you.
Oh, that's his brother. Oh, there's definitely something going on there.
Ryudo,
Demon man? Bringer of ruination? He's just a common murderer. He can't still be alive. I never thought I'd have to relive that nightmare again in such a place.
what is all this?
That's what I
Who
want
is
to know.
this Melphis?
Got a bad feeling about this.
He's my brother.
Damn. So he has a brother, and it seems very tragic whatever happened to him. Curious to learn more, honestly. Sounds like there's a lot of pain behind that, which makes sense why he's so, like, such an asshole. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Grandia 2. I hope you enjoyed. As you can kind of see, I really did kind of go off on a little bit of a tangent on random subjects, but I figured, you know, filling this time with subjects I'd like to talk about, I think it kind of gives the JRPG videos a little more flavor, a little more interesting, mainly just because I don't like just cutting all that stuff out. I think some of it is, like, interesting, so that's kind of why it's kind of the direction I'm taking. So let me know if you like the video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff, and you know, anywhere that you are, whatever you're doing, I just hope that you're safe and you're having a good time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.